Hey, welcome to this go-around of Snowmobiler Television. On this week's show, it's all about the nostalgia because we head to Cochrane, Ontario to visit a vintage sled museum, plus we're riding these beauties. Stick around because we're about to roll in a new set of BR9s into this show.
STV is brought to you by Yamaha. Conquer snow with Yamaha. Ultimex belts. Performance driven, performance proven. Ford F-Series, Canada's best-selling line of trucks for 53 years. Tough, smart, capable.
The Triple Two-Stroke Tour is a fun ride we wanted to do with a few of us at the OSM and STV office. Playing hooky to ride isn't anything new, but for this run, it's only open to triple two-stroke snowmobiles. Sleds can be from any era as long as they have 3 cylinders and are two-stroke. Now this factor automatically limits the age of eligible sleds to the early 2000s, like the XCR that Rich is riding. For Logan and I, we've got a pair of 1990 Indy 650s, which are pretty vintage compared to the XCR. Logan's sled is a real survivor. It's all stock, right down to the steel skis. My sled is another 650, but this is my own, and one that I've had since I was 15 years old. It's more modified, but has been sitting around for a long time as a garage ornament. Rich's XCR is a gorgeous survivor. It's like brand new and runs like it too. We've decided to stay relatively close to home and booked ourselves into the Best Western in Huntsville, Ontario. From here, our goal is to run the lakes to get over to Dorset for lunch and back again, hopefully without any issues.
There's a view coming over here. Come on, let's get it.
Well, immediately I was thinking that this is going to be a great ride, being able to take these triple two-strokes and rip around some lakes, have some fun. It's kind of old school, so I was in right from the get-go. I had to find one, and I really wanted a little more recent one, something that wasn't from the 90s. I had a lot of fun in the 90s with the two-stroke triples, you know, fishtailing around in the corners, and the sound is the iconic sound, especially the 650 Polarises. But I want something a little newer, something with a little more suspension, a little more dependable, because I know that we're going to be going pretty quick down the lakes and holding them wide open for a long time. So I contacted a few of my friends, and Craig from the Edge Performance happened to have a showroom condition XCR 800 triple. So snowmobiling was different back then. You didn't really travel as far. The sleds beat you up, you got tired. You had to be a little more creative on the trail because you couldn't just pound through the whoops. You had to kind of like go around the whoops, choose your whoops, you know. And then, you know, when today snowmobiles, they just pick up the front skis and you can haul in down the straights, and you can haul around, you can go around the whoops. Those snowmobiles, you just kind of plow through, and it's just like bang, bang. That's why I want a newer snowmobile. Like, you know, I feel bad for Logan. I don't know if he knows her yet, but he's got a 1990 650 triple with a lot of suspension. So it'll be interesting. Like, at least the 2003 gave us some relief. I have a cheater sled, and I'm proud to say it's a cheater sled. It has less than 1,000 miles on it. It is original paint, hot grips work, everything is pristine. Again, jealousy. That's all you guys are gonna be thinking. And it's gonna be nice and warm, the big windshield. You're gonna see Kehoe just wail down those straights. You guys are gonna have fun on those 650s. I can't wait to see Logan's face. He's never ridden anything older than himself. That kid's gonna hold it wide open and wonder what happened.
Where did all the power go?
Where's my suspension? This thing doesn't turn, but don't worry, Jeff. We set him up with some steel skis, so when he does road crossings, he'll remember the sound that we grew up with. That it's perfect.
So,
here we go. When we first started talking about the triple two-stroke tour, I was excited. I actually was jealous because originally I wasn't supposed to go on this tour, and then when I got the opportunity, I jumped on it and I was ready to go. And once I first saw the sleds, and once the atmosphere alone, it's throwback. It's vintage. How can you not say no to vintage? This sled is 2 years older than I am, so it's a difference. It's there. Not what I was expecting. I thought I'd get a cheater sled, but you know, seniority, that's what happens. But you know what, it looks like fun. It goes old school, it's a throwback type thing, and I can't wait to do it. I can't wait to go for a ride. For me, it's like driving a whole new style of snowmobile. It's a whole new generation, whole new everything, and just even looking at the sled alone, just looking how low it is to the ground, just kind of reminds you like a 120. You're sitting there high, your knees are just as high as your elbows type stuff, and I'm scared in a way, and how the corners and how the bumps and everything will go, but just when I started it up, and it just put a smile to my face and just made me want to go snowmobiling. I know everyone from OSM and STV, they've ridden all these old sleds, all the triples, and I don't have experience on them, but the sound, it's gonna be awesome. I heard it's the national anthem of snowmobiling, so I'm hoping that people will see me and they won't stop looking at me when I'm driving by.
I wanted to do a tour that was a little bit different, that kind of had the vintage vibe to it, but I mean, the leaf spring rides, they're kind of all over the place. You know, there's the wobble ride and all that type of thing. I just wanted to do something different, and kind of thinking about sleds that, you know, from a different generation, and really that goes back to, you know, the triples, you know, the lake days, the lake racing, you know, speed runs and all that stuff. And that era's kind of come and gone. Maybe coming back a little bit with new sleds like the SRX, but triple two-strokes, I mean, those things have kind of run their course. They're not coming back into snowmobiling. Most favorite triple is the one that I have. It's the 1990 Indy 650. I have to go there, just have to. To me, that's a muscle car. I mean, there's other, I like muscle cars, but the Indy 650 is the iconic muscle car snowmobile for me anyways. Reliability on this triple two-stroke ride can be a big question. I think Rich's XCR is going to be absolutely fine. I mean, it's showroom. That thing is, that's a gem, that sled. But it hasn't run in a couple years, but I think it's going to be okay. The question marks is going to be with my sled. The last time that was anywhere near a snowmobile trail for any length of time anyways was about 1997. I think it was out somewhere in the early 2000s. I got it running, went for a trip on a small trail just around the house. The headlight wasn't working. I thought it was running pretty good, and I figured I better put this thing away before it blows up. So that was my last thoughts when that thing last hit the snow, and really it hasn't been out of the garage since. So this is its first real trip. It'll do more miles in the next couple of days than it's done in the last 20 years. Yeah, I've been riding snowmobiles for a long time. I mean, I hate to say it, but I started when I was 5 years old, so I'm creeping up on that 40-year mark of riding snowmobiles. And that's really scary to say, but back in the day, I used to carry a whole bunch of stuff. I had like spare idler wheels with that 650 when I was putting miles on it, spare nuts and bolts because it would back stuff out of the suspension all the time. For this ride, I'm taking a chance. I've got my Leatherman, and we've got some electrical tape. And I figure if we can't fix it with that, then we're just gonna tow the junk home. This is Logan's first old school triple experience. I mean, he's got some time with his dad's sled, but that was kind of a triple from the late 90s. The 90 Indy 650, I mean, I think we're gonna be rocking like 6 inches of travel, maybe not that much, and it's old school travel too. I mean, not very well damped. The suspension moves up and down, but is it really working? I don't know. So I think suspension-wise and that old school riding position is going to be an eye-opener for Logan. So far, the two-stroke triple tour has brought back a lot of great memories, but for some reason, I don't remember these old 650s being that rough. But at least they're still moving. Along with the rough ride of my old Indy, it's also way slower than I seem to remember. And it has a huge bog below 6,000 RPM. That could be the clutches or in the carbs or because of the extra oil I put in the gas tank to richen up the mixture. But once it clears out, she comes to life and spins up past 9,000 RPM and it's off. Well, sort of anyways. It's kind of like stepping on a squirrel's tail. It makes a heck of a lot of noise, but it doesn't really go anywhere. It's all good though, because at least this old girl is still moving on its own.
It's different, I guess, to experience something older than I am, but my back hurts, that's for sure. And I'm only 26, but it's sloppy in the corners. It's rough, that's for sure, after riding the new stuff for after a while. But it's a challenge, you gotta adapt or die, I guess.
So basically, this reminds you a lot of your last number of Tinder dates.
Yeah. If I'm looking to date someone back in 650 has in the 90s, I would probably say no. It's different, it's scary, but it's a lot of fun. It shows what the snowmobile industry came up to and what it is now and how adapted it is, and just even the stance alone and how low ride you sit is just mind-boggling. And I don't know how the older generation, not picking out anyone, did this back in the day on the trails. We went through one trail that was 6 moguls and this thing was bouncing up and down. Like, that stuff definitely changed a little bit, but the sound is just more, gives you that vintage look, but it also gives you that, you know you're riding a snowmobile that was built to make some noise.
Well, to say spoiled would be an understatement. I knew as soon as you invited me on this ride, Jeff, about the triple tour that I had to get something relatively new I wanted, because I didn't want to, I've already ridden the 90s stuff, like the 1990 650, spent a lot of time on it. I thought Logan would do a better job this time. So I wanted a little suspension, and I wanted to go fast. So I was looking for an XCR 800 Thundercat or a ZR-T8. So when Craig from The Edge said he had a pristine, it's pre-showroom, XCR 800, I knew that this would be the weapon of choice for the week that we were up here. Definitely brings back a lot of memories on how fast it was. As soon as you grab the loud handle and you take it for a pull down Kevlar Lake, you know that you're going to be one of the top dogs on Kevlar Lake. That's where actually we were this whole week. But this one here, this little girl looked really cool. It was like an old hot rod going out. I was way ahead of you guys in the 650s with all the 6 inches of clapped out suspension, but it kind of brought back some memories of, I'm glad snowmobiling changed, especially in the back end. Love these rides. It's like finding an Ewok on the side of the trail, finding Sasquatch when you pull into your gas stop. Everyone looks at you like you have 3 heads. So I thought it was pretty cool, and I can't wait to do it again, to be honest with you.
So riding these old girls was a lot of fun, but for the truly vintage stuff, we had a chance to check out the real thing at the Cochrane Vintage Snowmobile Museum.
So the museum started basically in 2004, 2005. The previous year, there was another bunch of guys that started the temporary museum in the Ministry of Natural Resources fire hall, and that was just a temporary thing. And then we heard wind of it, and I approached the town CAO, which was involved in the first one. And then I told him, I said, well, we're the guys that really are into this. And he had a building for us in the village here, in the Heritage Village. There was a building for us, so we started that one. And I soon told them right away that they would be too small. We had 50 sleds and we were really cramped in there. So we started the details of trying to get a grant to build this building that we're in today. We have quite a few of the brands, and that's what our goal was to demonstrate as many brands as possible. And obviously we're getting there. I mean, obviously there's 200 plus brands of snowmobiles that were built in the late 60s, early 70s. But we're trying to show what was here. In Cochrane here, we were very fortunate. We had close to 15 different dealerships over the years, not all at the same time, obviously. But yeah, we had close to 15 dealerships, and I think we pretty well have everything in the museum, short of maybe an Autoboggin that would have been sold in Cochrane at the time. Our oldest is a 1960 Skidoo, obviously tin cab, which was basically the first year of the Pleasure snowmobile. What we wanted to show also is the evolution of the snowmobile. So if a dealer wanted to put a brand new machine in here, we'd say for sure, bring it in. But you can see the evolution of where it started from. And obviously snowmobiles, the evolution has been a lot faster than cars or trucks. So yeah, this is why we wanted to show the years. All of the machines in here are privately owned. They're only here for as long as the owner would like to lend them to us. They're here for people to view, obviously. But yeah, they're all privately owned. We do have a lot of clothing on display, and a large majority of it belongs to people that actually own sleds in the museum. They'll bring something with the machine, whether it be a helmet or a pair of boots or a snowmobile suit. Some has been donated to us though from some people that had large collections of snowmobile suits and that, yeah. We had to go out and kind of look for different machines, and but now it's getting to the point where people have recognized us nationally, actually, and now we're getting phone calls on a regular basis, and I'd like to put my machine with you guys and that. So it's the recognition that took a little longer than we were hoping, but now we're being recognized so as a museum, and obviously people are calling us fairly often. Yeah, some of the unique snowmobiles we have is like the Larvin Caterpillar, which is a Scandinavian machine. And, so there's not many of those in Canada. So obviously, those are pretty special. When people see it, they say, oh my God, look how odd this machine looks like, and that. And so there is a few of the unique ones that are not necessarily Canadian built, but some are American built, obviously, and by very small production numbers too. So that's the uniqueness of some of the things we have, yeah. Right now, I would say that probably Alouette Big Al, because it's a unique and one of a kind, and because of where it originated from. I mean, built by somebody that I know a lot of people may not remember, George Barris, but because of his movie vehicles that he's built, the original Batmobile and the kit car from Knight Rider and Back to the Future car and all those cars. I mean, that to me, that was a big celebrity as far as I'm concerned. And I watched a few documentaries on George Barris, and they call him the king of hot rods, so in California. So, yeah, that would be, to me, I think that would be the machine that would be the most valuable and also unique. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of different folks come in because of the polar bears. I mean, we have a guest book, and it's really interesting to look at the different locations where people have come to see the polar bears, and they come into the Snowmobile Museum, and I guess for some of them, it's something they've never seen, obviously, some of the snowmobiles. So we have people from as far as Australia and European countries, many of those places, and of course the US and Canada and Alaska, I mean, that's all part of the U.S., but yeah, we've got people from all over. A lot of these sleds, there are full restorations, but a lot of them are survivors, and personally, my own are survivors, and we do take them out, our own machines. We don't take somebody else's machines out, but we have a vintage ride that's coming in March 2nd, and it's our big ride for us here, and our Tom Saul Memorial ride. It'll be our 10th year this year. And yes, there's quite a few that do come out and go and ride that day, and it's a lot of fun. And we don't stop anybody from coming, doesn't matter what kind of sled, whether it's new or old, but it's always fun to see the vintage machines riding on the trail all together in a group. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I get a thrill every year when I take out my 79. It was, I ride it, and it's a lot of fun. And I mean, I compare that to my new machine today, and I think, wow, like what a difference. But I still get a thrill out of riding that sled, the same as I did when I bought it in '79. So yeah, it's a whole thing about, back in the day, having fun.
30 sleds in the parking lot here in Dorset at the restaurant, and we got the only sled with steel skis. That's cool. Should say Logan's riding the only sled with steel skis. So we're doing pretty good on the triple tour so far. The sleds are still moving by themselves, which is pretty good. So we made it to Dorset here and had dinner at the Trading Bay Dining Company, and we came here on the lakes, which was our goal. However, with Snowmageddon kicking up, we're sticking a little bit closer to the stakes than we anticipated. Time to dust the old girls off and head back to Huntsville. Spending a day on the snow with these old ladies highlights how far the snowmobile industry has come, even from the early 2000s like the XCR's era. Now it was great to go back in time for a day, even with Snowmageddon socking us in on our lake ride, but it'll sure be nice to go back to the future. Back to more capable suspensions, rider-forward designs, power, and reliability. For this triple two-stroke ride, it's the first time we've ever done it, and we've really only got 3 of us riding old triples, so I'm hoping that eventually we might get more people to come out and hang with us on this and bring out some old iron that's kind of kicking around in people's garages and you know, maybe in their back 40 type of thing. I have my list of things to do on the old Indy, and I think next time I want a bit more of a challenge with a longer ride and maybe even an overnight bagger tour. What could possibly go wrong? So that's the end of the show and the two-stroke triple tour, which was a heck of a lot of fun and brought back a lot of good memories. And the best part is, all of these sleds can drive themselves back onto the trailer. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Snowmobiler Television.
STV has been brought to you by CKX. Wear your passion. On Snow Magazine, for snowmobilers from snowmobilers.
By the way, Logan, he's single right now, so if any ladies out there are interested in a young man who's now experienced with old triples, he's more than willing to help.
He's a big twin.
Yes, yeah, he does like big twins though. He's over there laughing.